on this edition of Wedding Market Chat, Destination Weddings in Grenada, with special guest Lucille Sylvester from Grenada Wedding, Elena De Gale from Mount Cinnamon, and Edward Frank from Grenada Board of Tourism. This Wedding Market Chat is sponsored by the Grenada Board of Tourism at grenadagrenadines.com. Now, your host, Julie Abba.
News. Today we are live in Grenada, and we are thrilled to be here. Can you tell us how you got into the wedding industry?
Certainly. My background is in hospitality and event planning as well as business, and I wanted to create an opportunity for people to have their special day anywhere on the island. So it could be at beautiful estates such as Mount Cinnamon, but also opportunities to have them at waterfalls, plantation houses, forts, and underwater.
Can you tell me what makes destination weddings in Grenada unique?
Absolutely. I believe it's from the warmth of the people here who are friendly and will love to be a part of your special celebration and make it perfect for you, right to the warmth of the spices, the sunshine, the topography, and all that we have to offer. Grenada's an idyllic place for a wedding and a celebration.
Grenada is a no-problem island. We have all modern amenities without the over-commercialization of some of the other Caribbean islands. So your accommodation, your legal paperwork will all be handled efficiently and quickly.
What does Mount Cinnamon offer for a wedding?
Offers various packages which we can tailor to suit a couple's individual needs. All of our packages will afford you our dedicated concierge service. We will take care of all your legal requirements, all your cosmetic appointments, reservations, flowers, decorations, and marriage office, and every other detail that will ensure that your day is a beautiful success, really.
How many different wedding locations or themes do you offer here?
Mount Cinnamon has two sister properties, right? Which can offer you two completely different themed experiences. We have a country plantation called Mount Edgecombe, and we have a Moroccan-style castle in Lansepine called Azura Castle. So we can also offer this luxury villa experience, which is overlooking our pristine Grandins Beach and the surrounding hillsides. And we also have our private beach cabana on Grandins Beach, which will afford you the perfect idyllic Caribbean beachside wedding.
Is how far in advance should a bride plan a wedding in Grenada? What is the smallest amount of time as well?
Well, I've had last-minute brides who certainly still got the same service, and even having told us about their plans to get married in Grenada just 4 weeks before. So, wow. Yes, so we really are a no-problem island. So it can be, that is probably about the minimum time. We can certainly still make the dreams come true, but most plan between 3 to 6 months, some even as far as 1 year.
What's the price range a couple would pay for a wedding in Grenada? You know, there's probably a certain range.
It all depends, of course, on what you have, but I know in Grenada, basic packages for a couple can start just as little as $900 US. So for the wedding paperwork, for things like a bouquet, an officiant, a small cake, and a location and a setting, and of course, really dependent on the things you want to have included, your costs can go up. So dependent on if you bring guests with you as well.
What are the marriage requirements for Grenada?
Our couples getting married in Grenada will be required to have a valid passport, birth certificate, sworn affidavit, or letter from a clergyman, lawyer, or registry, attesting that neither party has been married previously. You will also need a decree absolute for each divorced party if widowed, the deceased death certificate, legal proof if a name was changed by deed poll. And if you're under the age of 21, written parental consent by way of an affidavit from a lawyer or notary public. All documents must be in English or translated and certified.
What tips do you have for brides bringing their dress on the plane? Because sometimes brides think about that and they're probably thinking, how am I going to do that? So
I would say really don't, we know it's precious cargo, we totally understand, but I really wouldn't worry about it. I would bring it in a bag, a dress carrier, and I would say don't worry about the creases. We have got you covered. I personally have a great handheld steam machine that I use for all of my bride's dress. I will not go anywhere without it. So we have you covered with regards to your dress. And we always have brides carry beautiful dresses on the planes. In fact, the airline staff are very accommodating for one, and for two, they're always really excited when they see a bride with a dress going on a destination wedding to the tropics.
And I think you need to just add that you don't get charged anything at customs. The government and the Board of Tourism have ensured now that persons coming to get married in Grenada wouldn't have their dresses being charged taxes at the airport. In the past, that might have happened.
this is a really good question, but I think it's actually funny. Taylor Wedd, when she joins our chats on a regular basis, she said, so how do you say Grenada? I mean, she was wondering, I said it, but I've also heard people pronounce it other ways as well. I mean, is it both ways, or can it be?
Well,
it's one way, and you're saying it correctly, Grenada.
Yes, Grenada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grenada is in Spain.
Sometimes they go to the airport and they'll say Grenada, and I'm like, it's pronounced
It's Grenada.
Grenada.
Yes.
How can destination wedding planners and travel agents add Grenada as a wedding location? What would be some of the things that you would suggest about adding them on as a part of their portfolio?
They can contact us obviously through the Grenada Board of Tourism. They can go through our many tour operators and travel agents that we use. We do use some consortium tour operators that are internationally renowned, and they can contact the resorts also directly.
What are some of the most unique wedding venues in Grenada besides Mount Cinnamon? Some of the other venues that you have.
Some of the most idyllic, quite unique places, such as at the Waterfalls, at the forts, at the plantation houses, and you would have seen with Mount Cinnamon has already posted, or Flamboyant has already posted about the underwater wedding that also took place here. So Waterfalls are one of my favourites. I will post a photo, because you have the beautiful, the cascading waterfall set in a beautiful garden, and it's just very invigorating and fresh and new and unique for the couple. So that's one of my favourite spots that couples really enjoy.
What is your favourite Grenadian wedding?
I will tell you, at the waterfall weddings, it's not unusual for afterwards the couple to jump into the beautiful pool at the bottom of the waterfall. So I have had that before on a few occasions. I once had a couple who took off their wedding attire and had really cool matching bride, and she had a bride bikini, and he had a groom's really nice white shorts, and then they jumped in. It made for spectacular photos, and I'm sure some of our listeners today can attest that capturing the memories, some of the unique and special photos that are a family heirloom, are very important to the couples, and that's one of the things we can take care of here. Exquisite photos, and with a little twist, with some uniqueness.
Do you have all-inclusive packages for guests, and what are some of the price points?
Well, at Mount Cinnamon, we do offer wedding guests an all-inclusive rate of US $140 per person per day, plus 25% tax. And that's what we offer. I cannot speak for the other properties, but I do know some of the other properties also offer all-inclusive packages and rates.
For some of the others, I know their price points are very similar, as Mount Cinnamon was saying, that they can get an all-inclusive package. And it just takes that it's really nice that you can plan for it, you have your budget, you know what you're going to spend, and so when you invite your guests to join you who are also treating it as a vacation, they have something to budget towards and to plan towards. So those are some of the very realistic price points at the hotels, such as Mount Cinnamon, Flamboyant, Trubli Bay Resort, whether you're the Rex, Cuyaba, so on and so forth. They've got some price points around that area.
A question from our audience, and they were talking, is there like a per-person cost for the wedding, like for the food, the beverage, the decor, entertainment?
It does go to, again, how much or how little you want. You can start with the basic packages and build on that. So when you say a per-person rate, usually once your guests are, especially if they're staying at the same accommodation as you, then to actually attend your wedding is really no additional cost. You just now have to design the food and beverage that you wish to share with your guests with your event planner. So once you design that within your budget, what do you want to spend on food and beverage to celebrate your destination wedding, then that's how you will get your per person cost. Again, it can be tailored to your needs, so that's the good part about it. If we have small weddings of just 2 people, then of course it literally could be a celebratory meal for 2 wherever you're staying. At this point, I would like to say we also have weddings, of course, with blended families, which is very important. So I've recently had a wedding where there was children from both families. They were now going to be a blended family, and we involved the children in each step of the way. In fact, they wrote vows to the parents, and the parents wrote vows to them. We had something called a sand ceremony where they mixed different colour sand, and the symbolism of that is that once you mix sand, it's impossible then to separate it, and that was the wish that family had for themselves.
Can you do weddings on the beach for how many? Are there certain costs associated with tents, lighting, or like a backup plan? Because when you do weddings outside, you have to have that backup plan because you just never know.
We actually don't say that 4-letter word. We call it liquid sunshine, Julie. So if there should be a case of liquid sunshine, we are really privileged in Grenada that we do have a lot of the locations have beautiful outdoor patios. And so therefore, such as we've got beach patios, so you don't compromise your view. If we should get a little bit of liquid sunshine, you get to still be in an idyllic spot without compromising your view, but you are sheltered.
And then we have our private beach club, which can seat about 80 persons. So for instance, if we're on the beachfront and the wedding party is getting married and it so happens to rain, the guests can easily be escorted under the beach cabana where the wedding can continue without hassle, with no problems.
What can they expect as far as overall and maybe even different seasons, like temperatures?
So temperatures, yes, at certain times get up to 31 degrees Celsius in the hotter period between, say, June and September. And then when you're looking at, say, October going into the end of April, in the day it could be between 29 and 30. So very rarely does it get to 33. That might be in August, September, that type of thing. And it doesn't drop lower than 19 degrees Celsius in the night.
So tell me, what are some of the places that flights in the United States, air flights, major cities that they could actually, their guests could fly out of, the couple could fly out of?
Yeah, because of the way the flights are networked, whilst the flights originate from New York, direct to Grenada, like Caribbean Airlines or American Airlines flying out of Miami, etc. Because the fact is, it doesn't matter what city you're from. There is a flight that connects to that major airport which gets you to Grenada. The UK, of course, we have Virgin Atlantic and British Airways flying directly from Gatwick to Grenada. Some even via Trinidad now, Caribbean Airlines.
At this point, I want to talk about some of the locations that some of the wedding guest or the bride and groom could actually visit on the island. I know I visited one of the falls that was here. It was just quite amazing how beautiful it was.
Oh, yeah.
And could you talk more about some of like the falls and maybe some of them, if you have museums and some other locations that they might visit?
We've seen waterfalls like the Seven Sisters or the St. Margaret Falls. That one, to get to it, means a very, very nice, soothing walk within cultivated lands and forest-type terrain. So that's good, and I believe that any person coming on for a wedding may think of incorporating that hike into their honeymoon experience. Of course, the Concord Waterfall, and there are 3 waterfalls up in that valley. They've been formed in a similar manner. Grenada has more than 12 waterfalls, really. Whether you're speaking of the Victoria Falls, there are falls around Mount St. Catherine, the Royal Mount Carmel Falls, and others. Opportunities to eat fruits and vegetables that are grown in an organic way, because we do not promote too much use of fertilizer and that kind of stuff. So you know that when you're eating things that are grown here, by and large you're eating healthy stuff. Whether you're river tubing, you go diving, snorkeling, using the hoppy cat, whatever you do, after you've gotten married and had that fantastic night, you can then go ahead and enjoy slowly and passionately what we've been blessed with as a people.
Does anybody want to talk about some of the restaurants and the types of menus that guests or couples can expect?
I am speaking on behalf of not only Mount Cinnamon, but some of our famed restaurants across the island, like the Beach House, for instance, or Flamboyance Restaurant, Spice Islands Restaurant, Oliver's. We really do try to serve West Indian ingredients, local West Indian ingredients incorporated in a international theme style cuisine, so that guests will not be totally shocked or off-put. So we do try to incorporate what we have to offer locally in terms of spices and ingredients, as our local breadfruit and coconut milk and spices of cinnamon and nutmeg, but done to international standards so that it will be equally appetizing and delicious.
Anyone else want to answer the question about the restaurants? Anybody?
Well, I'm thinking, because you were talking about food, and that's why I look the way I look. I thought of Patrick's restaurant in Lagoon Road, because it is just such a unique experience eating there. The Belmont Estate comes to mind because of what they offer and because of all of the added value that one gets in stopping there for lunch. So, but when you speak of restaurants in Grenada, you have to think too in terms of our national dish. We're very proud of the oil dung, and we push the fact that people should not leave Grenada unless they have an opportunity to really indulge themselves in eating something that would have a lasting memory in their lives. We believe that our food, when one takes into consideration the availability of the wide range of spices, it makes our food one of the best you can find in the world, because we have the nutmeg, the mace, the clove and the bay leaves, the chives, and so herbs and spices. You add those together, and the fact that we have all this fish in our ocean and this rich volcanic food, some of us have to look like this.
Well, the funny thing is, it will pick out some of the trends that are happening in the United States, but turn it into, of course, spicy trends. So one of the trends I had in the United States, I know Trash the Dress became popular, and of course we have the ideal location. And for those of you who don't know what trash the dress is, it's doing something fun with your dress afterwards. So you would put it back on, or you would keep it on, and later on in the day you would jump into the water, or go into the, in our case, go into the waterfall, or do something a little bit unique, a little bit off the beat, so that you would capture those unique memories. So I've had some couples that I've taken afterwards to a rum shop, and they've played dominoes in their attire and captured some unique photos. This particular rum shop was on the way to Annandale Waterfalls, you guys may know it, and right along the bar is a big Grenada flag, and the table is right there, and they pretended to have this, you know, this fifth of rum, although they had some water really, and they banged some dominoes on the table in their wedding attire, and they've really got some keepsake photographs for them to use. So it was really great.
Countries, maybe what a Grenadian wedding is compared to maybe the United States, some differences.
Okay. I would say, I'll speak for my own Grenadian wedding, I would say that we, it's a lot of family involved, and we really like to dance. So there's a lot of music and festivities and winding our waist. Do you think you know about that? It's a lot of fun. We usually do have some of the traditions, like where you would spend the night before with your girlfriends and so forth. So we have some of those, which namely are, you know, the hen and the stag and the bridal shower. But mainly the day is usually can be quite religious, and it can be quite joyous. Well, it's usually very joyous, and there's usually quite a lot of people involved. So we know that some of our international clientele come to a little bit get away from the fact of having a huge wedding. They can invite just a few of the people when they come to Grenada, but here, once one person knows, the village knows. It's a lot of fun. Well, the great thing with the destination wedding, and they can do, first of all, a save the date is usually done about a year in advance if the couple knows it's going to happen, because the family and friends who are joining them are seeing it as a vacation, and they will need time to plan. So sometimes a save the date is done, and that can usually be done on a website, and it can be in the form of a fridge magnet or an invitation that goes out. With regards to the invitation as well, some couples are doing wedding websites, which are quite popular now, and some couples are sending out the messages to their families and friends. Once they reply and they have an idea who they believe will be coming to Grenada, then they will give a more formal invitation, because by then we would help, as event planners, we would then help by giving them dates and times and locations. And even some family members they know that may not come and travel this way, they like to have it as a keepsake, and especially when it says Grenada Isle of Spice on it, and then we get them some photographs to send through to their family and friends.
Other question I would say, would there be certain tips that you would have for couples, other things that maybe we haven't discussed that you'd like to share?
A tip I would say is, even if you're come into Grenada, I would say, you know, make it personal, make it ensure it's what you want. So if I can give you some examples, I've had some couples, for example, I had a Scottish couple, and in Scotland you have your own family tartan, and they brought it along, and it was in the form of a ribbon, and they said, oh, I don't know if you can do anything with this, but we actually used it as the ribbon on their cake, and we also used it as a ribbon on the handle of their bouquet. So it was even more personal to them, even though they were in Grenada at a destination wedding that was new and fun and fresh and tropical. They still had special, unique things involved that were special to them. I had a bride, in fact, from North Carolina, and she had the rosary beads of her grandmother that wasn't with her, and we incorporated those also into the handle of her bouquet. So that was really special for her.
Now, have you seen any trends in brooch bouquets at all?
Yes, we've seen some of those, also corsage-style bouquets, and also different things that the wedding attendants can carry. They don't always have to carry flowers. They can have a flower in their hair, and they can have a spice necklace on, or something like that.
One of the first things that come to my mind is that all brides should really have a checklist especially if they're leaving their country, their home, to have a destination wedding, because the tendency to forget your shoes or your lingerie or some important aspect of the day can happen with the excitement of traveling. So I would advise that all brides should have a checklist. Very important.
What would you want everyone to take away from the chat today? The most important points that you would want them to remember about Grenada and weddings?
I would say weddings in the Spice Island are really a dream come true. And I say this because this is the feedback I get from brides and grooms. People literally do say, you know, if we knew it was going to be this easy, this relaxed, this idyllic, this personalised to us, we would have done it sooner. You get a lot of couples who do want to seal their relationship, but all of the aspects and overwhelmingness of a wedding do creep in. And this is a way you can really have your wedding cake and eat it. As the saying goes, you can have the idyllic setting, the cost effectiveness, honeymoon at the same time. So these events are now known as wedding moons, where you get everything in one spot and not be stressed out. So give us the chance, give your event planners the chance, your wedding planners the chance to speak with you. All of us offer free consultations, and from there we can see if it's ideal for you. Also, with the technology today, there's ways to Skype in your family, there's ways to use webcams to get your family and friends overseas involved in your destination wedding. The world is a smaller place now.
Grenada really is one of the most diverse Caribbean islands. You know, we're just not a little coral dot, but we have so much to offer for couples who are choosing us as a destination, or even to their guests. We really have much to see, much to do, and anyone from the bridal party or to the guests who comes will enjoy it to the fullest and will be very, very pleased that they chose Grenada.
Your friends and family can have their vacation at the same time, and you have an instant honeymoon. So we intend to lure people to the island, not only with the beautiful topography, not only with the over 40 golden beaches, fabulous waterfalls, great food, friendly people, but with our price point being able to suit different pockets and different needs.
We'll go ahead and close out. Thank you so much for coming, and I think we had a great discussion, conversation, and I think the U.S. as well as the U.K. has learned a lot about Grenadian weddings today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Welcome.